In this video, we're looking at sums of roots of unity, and in particular, we're going to explore a really beautiful result. So suppose that we have an equation z to the n equals 1, n's a positive integer, and we get a bunch of roots, a bunch of nth roots. We saw in the previous video that if n is 3, we end up with 3 cube roots, and we saw that if n is 5, we end up with 5 fifth roots, and so on. And suppose that those roots are, let's give them names. Well, what can we say about the relationship between those roots? Well, there are two relationships that I want to explore. So let's go back and look at the roots we found previously. So here were our 3 cube roots of 1. So it was 1, it was minus a half plus root 3 over 2, and it was minus a half minus root 3 over 2. Now let's just focus in on this form here. Notice that this forms a geometric sequence. If you start with a and you multiply by e to the 2 pi I over 3 and multiply by e to the 4 pi I over 3, that is a little geometric sequence. So this one here is just this one squared. So what we could do, we could say that the cube roots of 1 are 1, we always get 1 there, and let's call that first one omega, and let's call that second one omega squared. Let's check it out with fifth roots. With fifth roots, we've got all this mess over here, but look at them in exponential form. That is a geometric sequence again. You start with 1, and then you get e to the 2 pi over 5, and each time you're just multiplying by e to the 2 pi I over 5. So once again, it's a geometric sequence. So let's call this first one 1, because it is 1. Let's call that second one omega. The next one's omega squared. The next one is omega cubed, and the next one is omega to the power of 4. So this tells us something really profound. When you find a bunch of roots of 1, the roots of unity, they just form a geometric sequence. You always get 1, you always get a first root, not first root, but like the first nth root that you find, and then it's just that one squared, cubed, and so on, until you have, in this case, 5, in the case of cube roots, 3. So there's observation number 1. Observation number 2 is about what happens when we add our roots up. Let's go back to this one. So notice that these two are complex conjugates. Remember, the roots always come in conjugate pairs, and if you add conjugate pairs, by definition, the imaginary bits disappear. So if roots always come in conjugate pairs, that means that whenever you add them all up, you'll always get 0 imaginary, which means you must get a real number, but which real number? Well, if we add these up, the root 3 over 2i and the minus root 3 over 2i cancel, leaving me with minus a half, and 1. Well, those sum to 0. So what we found in the case of cube roots is that 1 plus omega squared was 0. Let's have a look and see what happens in the fifth root case. So look at the complex conjugate pairs. The imaginary part of this one and the imaginary part of this one cancel to 0. The imaginary part of this one and the imaginary part of this one cancel to 0. So what I'm left with is 1 plus this plus this plus this plus this. Hack through those decimals. You can try it for yourself. Obviously I rounded, but you hack through those and you're going to find that once again you sum these up and you get 0. So in the case of fifth roots as well, we have 1 plus omega squared plus omega cubed plus omega to the 4 equals 0. So it seems like the roots of 1 not only form a geometric sequence, but also sum to 0. I will prove this, by the way, in about a minute, but here's a geometrical explanation for why. When you add them up, you're basically adding up these vertices. Now, What I like to think is that these vertices are 5 equally spaced points around the origin, so their average position is the origin. Now, what do I mean by average position? I mean add them up and divide by 5. But if you add them up and divide by 5 and you get 0, then it must mean that when you add them up, you get 0. And it's the same thing for cube roots, right? These 3 points here are just 3 evenly spaced points around the origin. So of course their average position is the origin, so therefore when you add them up you're going to get 0. Let's prove this properly though. What we found is that if you have z to the n equals 1, our roots are going to be 1, omega, omega squared, omega cubed, etc., all the way up to omega to the n minus 1. We don't go any further because we want there to be n roots. By the way, if you just did one more, omega to the n, that would just be 1, because of course these are the numbers which when you raise them to the power of n are 1. So kind of by definition omega to the n is just 1. These numbers are not 1. Okay, so what happens when you add these up? Well, this is the sum of a geometric sequence. So we can use what we know about geometric sequences to evaluate this. So this is a geometric sequence with a first term of 1, a ratio of omega, and n terms in the sequence. So the sum of these terms is, remember our formula, it's a, which is 1, times ratio to the power of n minus 1 divided by the ratio minus 1. But omega to the n is 1. Like literally by definition, this number here is the thing which when you raise it to the power of n is 1. Like it is the first nth root of this number. So omega to the n minus 1 is 0. So 0 divided by something is 0. So this is a really important result. The sum of the roots of a complex number is always 0. Okay? Add up the roots and it's 0. They form a geometric sequence and their sum is 0. So nice little result there about sums of roots of unity. See you in the next video where I'll show you how to find the complex roots of any complex number.